Why, hello there, YouTube, and a very happy Halloween to you all, and welcome to this Halloween edition of the Iron Phantom's Black Book. I am your host, the Iron Phantom, and as always, it has been a long time since we had a good episode. So, this is where I tell two short, scary stories. And with it being Halloween, I intend to make them scary. So let's not go on any further and stop delaying and get on with the stories. This first terrifying tale I want to tell you is called The Possession. Enjoy it.
Bristol, 1972. Living in a house is a small family, the Daneses. One night, the two children, siblings, a boy named Oswald and a girl named Polly, sat by the television set, arguing over what to watch. "I want to watch this," said the girl. "I want to watch that," said the boy. The mother, Mrs. Danes, then walks in and says, "It is time for bed." The two children are saying then, "But Mom," the father, Mr. Danes, then says, "You heard your mother. Time to get ready for bed. I will make some hot chocolate." Mr. and Mrs. Danes kiss their daughter Polly goodnight and close the bedroom door, leaving the nightlight on for her. And then they say goodnight to their son Oswald. Mrs. Danes then saying, "Do we have to?" Mr. Danes saying yes, as he puts a padlock on Oswald's door. Later that night, 3 a.m. in the morning, Mrs. Danes awakens hearing a sound. Waking up Mr. Danes, she tells him she can hear a noise downstairs. Mr. Danes grabs a baseball bat and goes downstairs, only to find that it is their son, Oswald, standing by the television with static. Mr. Danes saying, "Jesus, son, what are you doing? How did you get out of your bedroom? And who are you talking to?" as they also heard him mumbling to someone or something. Oswald turns to them and says, "Nobody, mother, father," and returns to his bedroom. Also, the mother, Mrs. Danes, notices that he has a scratch on his chest. Mr. Danes saying he'll have done it himself, attention-seeking. Then Mrs. Danes turns off the television and is about to go upstairs. As she starts to go upstairs, the television comes back on by itself for no reason at all. The next day, after dropping the children at school and Mr. Danes going to work, before going into the town center to do some shopping, she calls in at the local church and then sees Father Eric. Father Eric, a priest, saying, "It has been a long time since the wedding." Mrs. Danes saying to Father Eric, "Yes, apologies, but my husband is not very religious, and I don't think we are as religious these days. She then says, listen, Father, I have a feeling that there is somewhat of an unholy presence in our house. Would you come and bless it for us this evening? Why, of course, said Father Eric. Later that day, after picking up the children and preparing dinner, a knock on the door is heard. It is Father Eric. He then says, I have come to bless this house. Thank you, Father, for coming. Blessing every room in the house. When he goes into Oswald's room, he feels a cold presence, saying it is very cold in here. Oh yes, Father, said Mrs. Danes. Oswald likes it cold in here. He finds the heat very, well, unpleasant. I see. Well, I have blessed your house. So, if you would excuse me, I would like to return to church now. Of course, Father. As he goes to the door, Mr. Danes returns home from work and says, Father Eric, long time no see. Yes, said Father Eric. I know that you don't have much faith in the Lord, but yes, please, don't give me the Lord. No offense to you, Father, but religion is not my thing. Of course. I see your children are here too. Mrs. Danes then says, say hello to Father Eric. Molly then goes, hello, and goes back to play with her dolls, whilst the son Oswald looks at him, emotionless, and says, you're going to rot in hell. Then Father Eric says, excuse me. Saying to Father Eric, you will rot in hell and be with your abusive father. He's waiting for you, by the way. Mr. Day saying, hey, you do not talk to a priest like that. It is all right, said Father Eric. I shall go now before I outstay my welcome. Mr. Danes then says, why did you bring him here for? I told you, this is all in your head. Our son is trying to get attention and making everything think that there is something strange going on. No, said Mrs. Danes. Last night as I was going back to bed, the television went on by itself. Then Mr. Danes saying, I'm sure you did not turn it off right. Now, Oswald, you will apologize to Father Eric. I will invite him around for dinner, and we will say sorry properly. Do you understand? The son, Oswald, looking the pale face emotionlessly, says, fine, as he retreats to his bedroom. Mr. Danes then sighs and says, anyway, what is for dinner? I'm starving. The next day, Mrs. Danes returns and invites Father Eric for dinner, saying he would love to come round. Then, once receiving an invitation, he then contacts a colleague, Father Colin, saying to him, I need your assistance. Of course, Father Eric. Something strange is going on at the Danes' household. The father, he believes it's all of the mind, but I think there is something around their house, something evil. What do you propose we do? I shall bring over a substance, and if the family consumes it, it will be fine, but we should know for sure. I think there is something with the sun, says Eric. I will bless some brownies. I will bake them and bless them, and we will know for sure. Of course, says Father Colin. What do you want me to do? Assist me if the worst should happen. But I will go over there tomorrow night and present them to him. Of course. The next night, Father Eric comes to the house and tells Mrs. Danes that he brought brownies. I hope you do not mind. Mrs. Danes says, of course, not at all. I haven't had time to make dessert anyway. Good. Then, after dinner, Father Eric says, your food was delicious. Thank you for inviting me. Of course, said Mr. Danes. Then Mr. Danes says, I believe our son has something he wants to say to you. Oh, yes? What is it? Says Father Eric. The boy then says, I'm sorry I cursed at you. Your apology is accepted, my son. Mrs. Danes then says, darling, could you come and help me with the brownies? Of course, darling, as he goes into the kitchen. Then Polly has a handkerchief. Father Eric asks, what is that you have? Showing him that she has Brussels sprouts, he then says, it is okay. It is not that much of a sin. When I was in the Catholic home, I would always hide my mashed potatoes, having a small laugh. As the parents return, Mrs. Danes asks, what are you laughing at? She then says, Father Eric told us a joke. Oh, really? I did not know you could tell jokes. Father Eric says, oh, there's a lot of things that no one knows about me, but I put a lot of my work into God. By the way, I hope you like the brownies. They are very nice, says Mr. Danes. The children then tuck into the brownies. Mr. Danes then says, no hot chocolate for you children tonight. But Dad, says Polly, no, you're already having chocolate brownies. Then Oswald tucks into his. Mr. Danes says, is everything okay, son? Then he vomits out the brownie. Mrs. Danes says, are you okay? Then their son all acts demonic as his eyes change and his tone of voice. Then Father Eric gets out his crucifix, holding back the demon. Mr. Danes then saying, what have you done to my son? I have not done anything to your son, says Father Eric. I had a feeling that something was not right with him. He is possessed. You're insane, says Mr. Danes. You've clearly given us something in those brownies, and this is all hallucinogenic. I wish it was, but the only thing I did with these brownies was bless them. Now I know that your child has a demonic entity in him. There is nothing wrong with our son, said Mr. Danes. He just has behavioral problems. Really, said Father Eric. Why do you have a padlock on his bedroom door? For his own safety. I don't think so. There's something going on and you refuse to see the true light of it. Mrs. Danes then says, please, listen to what he has to say. I think there is something wrong with our son. I know you are not so religious, but please, Just trust him on this. I don't know what to think, said Mr. Danes. Why does our son not look human anymore? His skin, it doesn't look like his. It's because it is the demon taking over. Then Father Eric performs some incantation that knocks out the demon, then saying quickly, help me get him back to his room. Father Eric then pours salt around his bed, holding in a barrier. He then says, I, last night, called the Vatican to approve an exorcism. They got into contact with me this morning saying it is approved. But I believe your son is possessed by a demon. Once we find out what this demon wants, we can then find a way to get rid of it. A knock on the door is heard. It is Father Colin, saying, Father, is it true? Yes, said Father Eric. The boy is possessed by a demon and we must exorcise it. And the Vatican have approved this? Yes, said Father Eric. We must start immediately. Polly then saying, Mother, Father, I'm scared. I think it's best that you take your daughter to someone else. The neighbor, perhaps. Then Polly saying, I don't want to leave you. I think it would be best if we take you next door to Mrs. Bennet. She'll look after you. Okay, Mother. She then takes the girl to the neighbor. Meanwhile, at the house, Mr. Danes asks, why are you doing this? We are telling you now, it is not your son. He has become the vessel for a demon. Now tell me, is there anything odd that he has behaved like? No, he has been his usual self. Although a few months back we did find a dead cat in his room. Not only that, we found out that he had been killing other animals. He even killed the neighbor's dog. We were beginning to fear for him, and then we decided to put a padlock on for his own safety. I think by ignoring this, you have enabled the demon to get stronger. Does he do anything else that could bring upon a demon? He plays with some board, but I think it's a load of crap, says Mr. Danes. Father Collins says, you mean a Ouija board? There is nothing abnormal about that at all. The Ouija board is a gateway for many dimensions. It just does not summon spirits, it can also summon demons. I think your son needs to be exorcised. And now. Then Oswald calls out to Mrs. Danes, saying, Mummy, I'm scared. Do not listen to him, says Father Eric. This is not your son. That is a demon. Oh, Father, will you please fix him? We will do everything in our power to do so. Then the son saying, Mummy, please, I'm scared. Don't leave me. After a while of him crying and begging her to come, she then began to feel convinced that it was her child. Going into the room, she goes up to him and he says, I'm so glad you're here, Mummy. Now fucking rot and die, as his voice changes again. And then Father Eric comes in and places the crucifix on him. The demon roars inside and he says, Enough! Why do you want this boy's body? Why have you possessed him? Said Father Eric. Then the demon inside looks and does not respond. Very well, said Father Eric. We will begin the exorcism. Father Colin? Of course, Father Eric. You two will have to leave this room. We need to perform our exorcism now. Don't come in or don't answer the door ever until it is done. Do you understand that? Said Father Colin. The Danes then do so. Father Eric begins the exorcism, saying, Our Father, hear thy name, as they say the holy verses, to exorcise the demon. After several hours, the demon then communicates. Father Eric then says, Demon, reveal yourself. What is your name? What is your name? The demon then says, I am Kitol, as he lets out a fierce roar. Father Eric then, placing another incantation on him, putting the demon to rest for a short while. Then he tells the parents that the demon that is possessing their son is a demon known as Kitol, telling them it is only but a legend. Kitol is one of the 9 children of Lagora. Lagora, an ancient demon who has up to 9 children from 8 different demons. Well, one of them being an angel, giving 2 of them an angelic presence. The 2 twins were cast out of heaven for believing that they could give their mother some redemption. But those are different children of Lagora. The demon we are dealing with is Kitol, the eldest of the Lagora's children. He is known to be summoned by a Ouija board and is said to frighten people to death with the very look of his appearance. We must stop him now, or else he will consume your son's soul and he may not be saved. At this point, the Danes see no other option but to let them do their work. Mr. Danes takes a while to get around it, but after what he witnesses, he says, There must be a God, because that is not our son, that is the devil itself. No, said Father Eric, it is not the devil. It is a demon, but it's no devil. And God will help us. Have faith, my son. They then go to the bedroom and continue the exorcism. As they are forcing the demon out, Father Eric takes a step back and knocks the salt that was surrounding the bed. Then the demon makes its exit from young Oswald's body. With the salt shifted, the demon gets away, saying to Father Eric as he leaves the boy, Thank you, as he runs away. Father Eric shouting, No! He got away! He made me knock the salt away from the circle. Don't worry, said Father Colin. We'll get him. What is important now is that the way is safe. Thank you, said Mrs. Danes. Thank you for saving our son. Of course. But we have some unfinished business with the demon Kitol. We must confront him now. What will you do? The demon is our concern, not yours anymore. Again, thank you, Father. Of course. The next day, everything seems normal. Of course, the son Oswald seems his quiet self, and he goes to school. Upon the next evening, the family are all together. The mother makes hot chocolate for the children, and the daughter Polly drinks away. Then Mrs. Danes asks Oswald, "Are you going to drink yours?" Oswald turns up at them and looks and says, "I'm letting it cool down first," says Oswald. Meanwhile, back at the church, the two priests, Father Eric and Father Colin, use a Ouija board to summon the demon Kitole. They then summon him and quickly surround him in a circle of salt. They then say to the demon, "You thought you could get away, did you?" The demon Kitole then says, "You don't understand, priests. I think we do. You found an innocent boy and possessed him, and he was unaware of the dark magic of the Ouija board." Kitole then says, "No, you've got this all wrong. I am not the one that is evil in this. I have done many evil things, but the boy is not my doing. Save it, as we banish you back to hell. No, I speak to you now as my true self," says Kitole. "What are you trying to say?" "I'm saying I was simply inside the boy because he wanted me there. I have given up demonic possession after what I saw in the boy. What are you talking about?" "It was a while ago. He was playing with a Ouija board and summoned me. At first I found it strange that a child would want me to possess them, but as he was an easy target, I jumped at the opportunity. At first I was able to do what I pleased, but then somehow he took control over me, started to use me for my powers, and he wanted to do unspeakable things. I could not let him do these evil things, because if he did, he would have gotten stronger and I would have gotten weaker. I only just managed to hold him back from doing the horrible thing that he has been planning for a long time." "What makes you think we should believe you, demon? Because I am speaking the truth. You wanted to save the boy's soul. I wanted to feast on it, but when I went inside him, I found no soul. I found nothing. Nothing but simple, pure evil. You must go to the house. I will prove it to you." "Fine," said Father Eric. "We'll go to this house. And you are coming with us." "Yes. I will prove it to you that the boy is truly evil." Later that night, as everyone is asleep in bed, Oswald gets up. Now believing that he is free from the evil within him, they take the padlock off, and Oswald goes downstairs into the garage and takes a bottle of petrol and pours it all over the house, around the bedrooms of his sister and parents, all the way outside. He then lights a match and sets the house on fire. The parents then wake up. As they do, he then starts to smile and laugh menacingly. Then the daughter Polly calling out for help as they burn. When the priests, the firemen, and the policemen arrive, he is already standing outside, proud of what he has done. Turning around, he sees the two priests, asking, "What have you done?" Then the boy sees Kitole. Kitole says, "Please, you must let me go now. He wants to put me back inside." "Yes, go, run," says Father Eric. The police then apprehend the boy and restrain him. He then gets taken into a police car. A month later, he is then institutionalized, and whilst having a session with a therapist, he attacks him and takes his glasses, taking out a contact lens before being taken back to his room. That night, he gets the lens and cuts his finger and uses the blood to draw a Ouija board. Then, using the lens as a way to summon another demon. Being successful, a demon hears his call, and as he is about to enter, Kitol stops the demon, saying, "Stop! You must not let that boy in. You must not possess him, because he has no soul for you to feast on. I warn you now." As the boy, Oswald, looks up and smiles, knowing he has summoned a demon again.
Did you enjoy that tale? Did you like the twist at the end? Did you like the return of Kitol, who has appeared in some other episodes and short horror stories before from this series? Well then, let's get to the next story. Now this next story that I'm going to tell you is a sequel. So if you did not see the Halloween special from last year, I advise you now to go check it out. The story is called Father Pumpkin, and it will be linked in the cards here. And if you want to go straight to the story of Father Pumpkin, then be sure to go to last year's Halloween special and go and listen to Father Pumpkin at the 13 minutes and 16-second time mark, which was in the last Halloween special. But for those of you who did see the Halloween special last year and did hear the story of Father Pumpkin, good for you. Here is the sequel. Father Pumpkin Returns.
Halloween. 1 year after Lucy's disappearance. Her sibling, Richard, tries so hard to convince his mother that his sister is not gone. Her mother saying, "You know, it is that time of the year, anniversary shock. Look, I know you want to believe that she is well and alive, but we don't know what happened to her that night, and we have no idea who took her." Richard says, "Well, Mum, you said it was a man, a tall man dressed as a jack-o'-lantern. Look, I don't want to talk any more about it now. Why don't you go trick-or-treating with your friends and then come home?" Richard then puts on his werewolf costume and goes out trick-or-treating with his friends. Later, after checking all his candy, he goes to bed. That night, he lays in wake, wondering whatever it was that took his sister, he will find them. He then hears noises downstairs and he goes down to investigate, grabbing a baseball bat. He goes down with a torch, and there he sees something. It is an old witch. Richard says, "Who are you?" The witch saying, "Richard, It is me, Lucy. You can't be my sister Lucy. She is only a child. You're an old woman. No, I am your sister. Remember last Halloween I dressed as a witch? Well, when Father Pumpkin came, I was turned into one. I have come to get rid of the candy because I don't want Father Pumpkin taking you. Then, in the darkness, Father Pumpkin appears, saying, "You still have some of that old self in you, don't you?" "Father Pumpkin," said Lucy, "please, don't take my brother. He left candy out for me. It seems that you are pigging out on it and getting rid of it before I arrive." Then Father Pumpkin approaches Richard, saying, "How would you like to be part of my kingdom, Halloween Town?" Richard then says, "No, I want my sister back." Father Pumpkin says, "You can't have her. You could take her place, but she saw me, and no child ever sees me, and if they do, they become one of me." Then the mother comes down and says, "Get away from my son." Father Pumpkin appears once more, saying, "Oh, you are the mother of these children, I see. I was explaining that when a child sees me, they will never tell anyone. I take them back to my world. They become the very thing their costume represents. Your daughter was dressed as a witch last year, so she is one. What have you done to her? She is the very thing she dressed as last year. Mother, please, take Richard and run." "No, you took my daughter, and now I want to take your son and make him a werewolf. He did dress as one this evening." Then the mother says, "Wait, take me instead. You want a soul, take mine." Lucy saying, "Mother, no. You have taken my child, and I want her safe. She has been living in Halloween Town for the last year, enjoying the spirit of Halloween. Do you feel that you are up to the task of fulfilling the purpose of Halloween? Living and breathing Halloween forever. That's what a year has felt like for her. That's why she has grown since. Please, Mother, don't. No, Lucy. You are my child, and I want you safe. But who will look after us? You'll find someone to look after you. But right now, Father Pumpkin wants a soul, he can have mine." Father Pumpkin saying, "Are you willing to take their place?" "Yes." "Very well then. You did not dress up as anything last Halloween or this Halloween. You answered the door to trick-or-treaters. But the last time you dressed as anything was a long time ago. At some college party you dressed as a vampire. So I make you one. Then the mother then turned pale and white and grew fangs, becoming a vampire. As for Lucy, Father Pumpkin said, with your mother taking your place, I free you. Then Lucy's ugliness melts away as her natural beauty returns. Now grown up, as a year has passed, for her it has been somewhat of a long time. Then the mother saying, Lucy, you've become a young woman. Lucy saying, it may have been 1 year for you, but what was 12 months for you was 12 years for me. Father Pumpkin then says, time runs different in my realm. And of course, with you as a vampire, you won't age. Come, let us go back to Halloween Town. You two children have a nice life. The mother says, let me say goodbye to my children. She then hugs Richard, saying, your sister will look after you. She is a grown-up now. You will look after him, won't you? Of course I will, Mother. I love you. Me too, child. Come then, we must go, says Father Pumpkin. They then leave the house and go outside, walking along and disappearing in the darkness. The next morning, Richard then says, what are we going to do now? Lucy said, Father Pumpkin comes out of his realm into this one once a year for Halloween. So, we wait another year for Father Pumpkin to return once more. And that is when we are going to get Mum back. And he's going to have one hell of a fight on his hands.
And there you have it. The two stories from this Halloween special of the show. Did you enjoy this one, Father Pumpkin Returns? And did you enjoy the possession? Did these stories scare you and tap your fears? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Be sure to share with your friends. Subscribe to the official Random Horror YouTube channel if you haven't already. And to hit that notification bell. All of the social media links for this channel are linked down below in the description too. So, that is it for this Halloween episode of the show. I shall be back with a Christmas special in December. So, I will say it once more. Happy Halloween to you all. And don't have nightmares. Well, try not to on this occasion, as it is Halloween. Enjoy what is left of your evening.